Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. We're so happy to have you here today. My name is Rachel.
And my name is Jessica, and we are the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla, and today we're going to talk about interoception. What the heck is it?
What is it? You're probably like, what? I've never heard of this.
Never heard this word before. We're going to talk about it.
Yep. It is actually one of your 8 senses. So you have 8 senses. You have 5 that you probably learned about in elementary school. That's always my reference because I remember learning about the 5 senses. Yep. You have your sense of sight, sound. I have to visualize them. Sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Did I get them all?
Yep, that was 5.
And then you have 2 additional hidden senses, proprioception and vestibular.
Now we do have YouTube videos on both of these hidden senses already.
And then the last one is your sense of interoception.
And that's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to talk about what it is, what it looks like if your child is struggling with this hidden sense, and then we're going to give you our 5 activities to address it and improve interoception.
Even if it's not an area of struggle for your child, it's really important to at least be aware of it, know what it is, what function it holds, why it's important, and to stimulate this sense and to really work on it and address it.
Let's talk about what interoception actually is. So interoception is your understanding, your feeling of all of your internal workings of your body. So understanding when you're hungry and when you're thirsty.
Understanding when you have to go to the bathroom, when you are not needing to go to the bathroom. That sense is very important, clearly, for a lot of reasons.
Understanding when you are sick or feeling ill, if you have an upset stomach or if you have a cold or a headache.
The ability to regulate temperature, knowing when you're too hot, when you're too cold, and how to dress appropriately for the weather outside.
And then it also incorporates emotions and understanding your own emotional state, as well as understanding the emotions of others.
So this sense is really just what's going on internally with your body. And it's not one that we necessarily think about, but I mean, you have a lot going on at all times. We're constantly processing the sensory world. So being able to identify internally what's going on, how you're feeling, how you're doing, how you're jiving is really important.
So anytime that a child struggles with understanding and processing their interoceptive sense, it can look like a variety of challenges. First, it might look like a child who is never hungry. Maybe they don't know what it feels like to be hungry. They know that maybe their body doesn't feel good, but they don't understand that it's because they need to eat or that they need to drink something because they're dehydrated.
On the flip side, maybe they never feel full. So they are constantly looking for snacks in the pantry, or they can't eat enough at dinner, or maybe they even vomit from eating too much. That could definitely be happening as well.
This could also look like a child who, after a certain age of consistently trying to toilet train, still can't get the hang of knowing when they need to use the bathroom. So they're still wetting their pants or wetting the bed at night.
Another one is identifying if they're feeling ill or not. So if they are feeling like they have a fever or if they have a stomach ache, maybe they can't really identify that feeling. They don't know if they're healthy. They don't know if they're sick. They're just struggling to really identify that feeling inside of, oh, something's off, but I don't know what it is, and they can't communicate that to you.
A child who struggles with interoception might also have poor emotional regulation skills. They might have big reactions to little problems on a very consistent basis.
Going along with that are social emotional skills as well. So being able to connect with their peers and being able to identify how their peers are feeling as compared to how they are feeling, if they need to modify their behavior or make any changes in order to get along with their peers a little bit better. Those social emotional skills definitely go hand in hand with that interoceptive sense.
Now, we do want to make a quick note that oftentimes children who struggle with interoception really do struggle to get through their day successfully. It impacts their day-to-day life a lot. And so if this sounds like your child and they're really struggling, we do recommend that you get an occupational therapy evaluation, because that in-person therapy can really, really be beneficial for these children who are struggling in these areas.
Our videos, our podcast, all of our courses, this information that we share is so helpful, obviously, because that's why you're here and you're coming back. But we definitely want to push you to get that OT evaluation if you have concerns. Now, if you want a little bit more information on the interoceptive sense, we are going to link a sensory preference checklist in the description below, because what we've talked about today is not an exhaustive list. It's not a standardized assessment, but we are going to link some additional information if you want to learn more about it.
And now let's jump into our favorite activities to address interoception.
The first activity we want to recommend is a visual schedule. We absolutely love visual schedules, visual anything for kids of all ages, all abilities. Because when you have a visual, when you have that tool, whether it's a visual schedule, a daily schedule, a sensory diet, anything that they can see, they know exactly what is expected of them. They know what to expect throughout the day, and having those expected items provides a sense of calmness. I don't know about you, but I definitely need everything written down. I need to be able to see it. If I can't see it, it definitely gives me a little bit of anxiety and it makes me uncomfortable, because what if I miss something? What if there's a preferred activity that I'm going to miss? Children feel the same way. That's why we love using those visual tools with them.
Visual schedules are also really helpful for your child to understand signs of hunger, signs of thirst, signs of needing to use the bathroom, because when they're on a regular, consistent schedule, then they can start to feel those internal senses of what their body needs to do, and they can understand what it means better. Number 2 is going to be primitive reflex integration. Now, we have a lot of free resources on primitive reflex integration. They will be linked in the description below. But what happens is that if primitive reflexes are retained and get stuck in the body, it can really impact a child's ability to understand how their body feels, especially using the bathroom, especially with emotional regulation skills. So looking into primitive reflex integration is a great step to take.
Social stories are another tool that we love to implement. So a social story is really just a book, a visual, again, another visual, that helps a child identify what's expected and how to work through certain situations. So let's stay on the topic of eating and identifying if we are feeling hungry or full. We can talk about a social story with a child and have pictures and instructions written down, and we can go through the social story that talks about how the child feels, how they might feel, if their tummy is grumbling a little bit, if they're feeling faint, if they're feeling tired. That might be a signal that they need to have a snack. So then they can ask the teacher, they can ask mom or dad, can I have a snack? And then recognize how they feel afterwards. So kind of walking them through those steps that most people would just do automatically and it comes naturally, but it doesn't for a child who struggles with this interoceptive sense. So having that social story can be really helpful to walk them through those steps of how they should be feeling for a given situation.
We do have a freebie,
Dun, dun, dun.
a free social story template that you can download. It'll be linked in the description below.
We also have a free visual schedule template as well. We'll link that as well in the description.
So many free things for you today. All right, the next one is going to be to use emotional regulation, emotional strategies, tools, and programs. So we love the zones of regulation. This is a very simple program that uses colors to kind of separate out different emotional states. So for example, the green zone is when you're calm, you're happy, you're ready to learn, where the yellow zone is you're starting to get maybe a little frustrated, a little bit out of control. So the zones of regulation is a great tool to use for children to start understanding their emotions and how it affects their body. We also like a couple of other ones. The Just Right curriculum is another great one. And How Does Your Engine Run? That's another one.
The alert program.
The alert program.
Yes. We will link all of those in the description if you want to check those out.
Which you should.
Yes. The next one we love to recommend is working on mindfulness, yoga, deep breathing, focusing on being present in the moment. And this is really challenging for kids. This is really challenging for me as well, if I'm going to be honest. But taking that time during the day to really sit down and be present in the moment teach your child, teach your clients, your students about deep breathing. We love the 5-finger breathing, belly breathing, putting something like a little stuffed animal on the belly to have the child take deep breaths in and deep breaths out, and they have that visual. But just talking about mindfulness and even journaling can be really helpful as well. Working on that sense of presentness.
Yeah. Well, also that like mind-body connection is so important to really fully understand what's going on in your body and how it affects you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, those are our 5 activities for you to try, our strategies. We also have a podcast episode on this topic that we will link in the description, as well as a course that is able to give some more information for like clinicians. If you are an OT practitioner or a therapist, we'll link that in the description below as well. What else?
Make sure you're following us on Instagram. We're at Harkla_family, as well as at All Things Sensory Podcast. And we provide a lot of free information on both of those Instagram pages.
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. You will get an alert. You'll get a reminder, a notification of a new video. We drop them every Tuesday here. And our podcast is definitely one that you should listen to. And we drop a new podcast episode on Wednesdays.
Okay, I think that might be it now.
Okay, all the things. Hope today's video was helpful. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can leave a comment in the comment section below. You can shoot us an email, support@harkla.co, not .com, and we will help you out there as well.
And then we will talk to you again next week.
Oh, are you going to be able to say it?
Nope.
Do you have trouble saying interoception?
Yep. How the f do you say this word?